All right, let's dive into a service that is, without a doubt, the unsung hero of your AWS environment, Amazon CloudWatch. It's the thing working behind the scenes that lets you sleep at night knowing your applications are safe and sound. So let's get into it.
You know the feeling? It's that sinking feeling you get when a customer reports your app is slow. But why? Is it the CPU, the network, a bad piece of code someone just pushed? You're staring at a dozen possibilities, and you have no idea where to even start looking. That exact moment of panic is what CloudWatch is built to prevent.
Now, the best way to think about CloudWatch is not as some boring dashboard with a bunch of graphs. Now, think of it as the central nervous system for your entire AWS setup. It's constantly sensing, feeling what's going on across all your services. And just like a real nervous system, it can trigger an automatic reflex to fix a problem, often before a human even notices. It's all about preventing disaster, not just reporting on.
So how does this nervous system actually do its job? Well, it all boils down to a continuous four-step loop that's always running, always watching.
First, it collects just a massive amount of data. We're talking metrics and logs from pretty much every AWS service out there. Then you monitor it, setting up dashboards to see what your system looks like when it's healthy. But here's where the magic really happens, the act stage. When a metric goes haywire, an alarm can automatically trigger a response. And finally, when you need to dig deep and figure out why something happened, you can analyze everything using a tool called Logs Insights. This whole thing just repeats 24/7.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. We're going to walk through 4 super common problems that CloudWatch can solve in a really elegant way.
Okay, scenario 1. It's 3 a.m., of course, and the physical piece of hardware running one of your critical servers just dies. This is a classic nightmare scenario that can take your entire application offline.
But instead of getting that dreaded page, a CloudWatch alarm sees that the server failed its health check. It immediately triggers an EC2 recover action, which automatically moves your instance onto a brand new, healthy piece of hardware. Your system literally heals itself. You don't have to do a thing.
Now, for a trickier problem. Your servers look fine, everything seems healthy, but your users are having a terrible experience. The most important page on your e-commerce site, the checkout page, is taking 5, maybe 10 seconds to load. That's a business killer.
This is a perfect job for CloudWatch synthetics, also known as canaries. Think of them as little robot customers. You script them to go through your site just like a real person would. Search for an item, add it to the cart, click checkout. If any step in that journey takes too long, say more than 3 seconds, an alarm goes off. You find out about the slowdown before your real customers do.
All right, let's talk scale. You're not running one server, you're running 50 of them. A user reports a vague error. How in the world are you supposed to find that one specific error message hidden in the logs of one of those 50 machines? It's a needle in a haystack.
Well, with CloudWatch, it's actually easy. You put the CloudWatch agent on all your servers, and it streams all of their logs into one single giant bucket. Then you use Logs Insights, which is basically a search engine for your logs. You can just ask it, show me all the connection timeout errors across all servers in the last hour, and boom, there's your answer.
And finally, the one problem that everybody who uses AWS worries about: money. We've all heard the horror stories of a small mistake leading to a massive, unexpected bill at the end of the month.
You need a financial safety net. Let's say you decide, I never want my bill to go over $500 without me knowing about it. You can set that exact threshold.
And the fix is incredibly simple. You just enable billing alerts. It's a little weird, you have to do it in the US East 1 region, but it works globally. CloudWatch will then monitor your estimated charges, and if its forecast shows you're on track to blow past your $500 limit, it sends you an alert. It's an early warning system for your wallet.
So we've seen what CloudWatch can do, and it's pretty incredible. But to really get it, especially if you're studying for an AWS exam, you need to understand the core concepts, the actual building blocks that make all this automation possible.
Okay, first up, metrics. Everything in CloudWatch starts with a metric, and they come in 2 main flavors. You've got your standard metrics, things like CPU usage, which AWS gives you for free. But AWS can't see inside your server's operating system. For things like memory usage or how full your hard drive is, you need to send custom metrics. You do that using the CloudWatch agent, and these do have a small cost.
So once you're watching a metric, you can create an alarm on it, and any alarm you make is always in one of 3 states. OK is pretty self-explanatory, everything's good. Alarm means your threshold has been crossed, like CPU is over 80%. And then there's insufficient _ data. This one usually just means the service is just starting up and CloudWatch doesn't have enough data yet to make a call.
So what's the point of an alarm? Well, it's the actions. When an alarm flips into that alarm state, that's when you can unleash all the cool automation. You can have it send you a notification, tell auto-scaling to spin up more servers, or even perform an EC2 action like rebooting the instance automatically.
All right, to wrap things up, let's do a little exam quickfire round. These are some of the most common questions about CloudWatch that you are almost guaranteed to see.
First one, and it's a total classic, you need to monitor the memory usage on your EC2 instance. How do you do it?
And the answer, every single time, is that you have to install the unified CloudWatch agent. Remember, by default, CloudWatch can't see inside the OS. The agent is what creates that bridge, allowing you to push internal stats like memory and disk space as custom metrics.
This next one gets people all the time because the names are so similar. CloudWatch versus CloudTrail. They do totally different things. So what is the actual difference?
Here's the absolute easiest way to think about it. CloudWatch monitors performance and answers the question, is the server slow? CloudTrail monitors API calls and answers the question, who deleted the server? So CloudWatch is for performance, CloudTrail is for auditing.
And that brings us to the end. As you've seen, CloudWatch is so much more than just a monitoring tool. It's an active, automated response system. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. Is the central nervous system for your own applications configured correctly? Is it actually paying attention? Because if it is, it can save you from all sorts of trouble.